Hi everybody, Alexander here from Monad Pool again. I just finished implementing a kind of oft requested feature, which I don't know why I didn't include earlier, but I'm really glad to have gotten some feedback from you guys on what you would like to do on the site. So I'm just going to give a quick tutorial on how to do that. And today we're talking about how would you use this tool in order to filter by the size of the provider. And I actually came up with, I think, a pretty good way of doing that. So I think the reason people want to do this, right, with Parler and deplatforming and all that kind of stuff that's in the news, a lot of people are concerned about whether or not their pool, or more generally the Cardano network, could be taken offline by, a private company's decision. So hopefully, by presenting the information in this way and helping people find out who their pool is on and find suitable pools that kind of aren't on providers they're not comfortable with, then we can help to make Cardano more resilient against that kind of thing. So let me switch over quickly. We got monadpool.com/cardano.html. Super catchy name, I know. So still looking for a name for this. If you think of any good names for what to host this under, please let me know. So I think first let me just double check. Yeah, we're in a decent zoom. So we're back here again. We open up this caret, and we're just looking at relays right now, and that's okay actually for what we want to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this filter tab, which we might have shown in some previous videos, but we'll just do exactly what we need to do. We go to add a filter. We're going to choose this new field that is new to the data set, which is infra_total_stake. This represents the total amount of ADA that is staked on that infrastructure provider. And we do this again, similar to the stake density calculation for each relay, right? We divide the total stake of the pool that runs that relay against the number of relays it has, and that gives us a kind of an amount of ADA. And then what I do is I go and I iterate over the entire kind of data frame, not iterate actually, it's a simple group by operation, which basically gives me a single number for every single infrastructure provider that we have in our little data set. We can tell by summing along that kind of column, we can find out how much ADA is staked on that provider. And this works even if a pool kind of has multiple different providers in their data set or in their infrastructure. So I'm pretty happy about this. We can test it by taking this slider and sliding it over so that we've basically got a single provider being caught, or a single value being caught here. And any guesses who this is? This is AWS, right? So if you were to mouse over any of these remaining relays here, you would see these are all AWS relays. And then so what we could do is, what's next? 2 seconds to guess. Who's here? This is surprisingly actually DigitalOcean. And again, this is not by the number of relays that they're hosting on the network, but the amount of ADA that is kind of represented on their infrastructure. Because for a proof of stake chain, I think it's actually more important to look at things ADA wise and not just by count of relay wise. All right, next provider is, I think this is one of the European ones, Hetzner, right? Yeah, so you can see this is pretty interesting. I'd never heard of Hetzner before I started doing this. But they're kind of like a Germanic, maybe a Scandinavian provider, looks like, but they've got a lot of ADA staked on their network relative to, who I knew them as. I think this is actually 2 separate providers, maybe. We might be getting low down enough that there actually are like people tied for, I guess, 4th place. So who is this? This is GCP, and yeah, this other one, ASN. I don't know who they are. It doesn't ring any bells, but this is GCP and one other provider. So we're still at Google Cloud Platform, pretty big, conglomerate. And OVH. OVH is another big European provider that was similar to Hetzner I had never heard of before. So let's get, who's the next one? OVH, OVH. Okay, so this bar over here is just OVH. So I guess that shows you who you might, I wouldn't say not want to stake with, but if you are concerned about overly centralized infrastructure providers that could potentially take a huge chunk of ADA or Cardano offline, you would look for pools that at least had infrastructure that wasn't additional infrastructure that wasn't on these guys, right? And the cool thing about this is we can actually, if we slide this slider all the way over to the left, so it's starting from 0 on this minimum thing, we can drag to the right, and we can say how much ADA are we comfortable with a single infrastructure provider having on their network, right? So if we just exclude the big guys, these remaining relays are kind of the ones that are still left in the running, right? And you could, go even smaller. I guess if you were a significant player and you wanted to have like a bespoke custom infrastructure, you could do that. But let's look at some of these just randomly. What's this? France Telecom, right? Speedon in Korea. AS Chupa. This AS Chupa is a pretty big one. I see it pretty often. I think it's a stand-in for something else, like some kind of anonymization. If anyone knows what AS Chupa is, let me know. Oh, RX78. This guy is a guy I talk with on Twitter every now and then. So hi. Konnichiwa, RX78-san. Nice to see you. Mammoth Media. Yeah, so all these are usually like local telco providers. Interestingly, actually, just as a note of caution, maybe Azure actually does not have a lot, which is Microsoft's private cloud service, does not have that much ADA on it. So they are obviously a large multinational corporation who you might be concerned about. So if you see Azure on there and you don't want to be with, AWS, GCP, Microsoft, whatever, just be aware of that even though they might not be caught up in the size filter, they probably have policies which are pretty similar as far as deplatforming and that kind of thing goes. So just keep an eye out for that. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you have any other questions about how to use this tool, I'd like to make shorter videos like this which explicitly allow you to drill down and find what you're looking for in it. I'm also open to and happy to actually live streaming some of these sessions, because I think there's something about just getting instantaneous feedback. So actually a friend of mine, another stake pool operator I know, I count as a friend of mine, and I are kind of toying with the idea of live streaming sessions like this on Twitch and YouTube, so that you can kind of ask questions, maybe like wallet questions, all those kind of basic things, and get a live response to that. And hopefully that'll help people join in and get staked on the Cardano network. And again, just to drive the point home, we want people to be staked, because staking is like mining for Cardano, right? And the more people that are staking, the more secure the network is. So hopefully we can lower down the bar and at the same time increase the decentralization of the network by allowing stuff like this to get out there. So yeah, share widely if you can, and I appreciate any of your support. If you like this, very quickly, Monad is the pool that I run, and their fees are supporting me working with this tool. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.